Hello world. And any programmers know what I mean.
Yes.
So
No.
okay, well, geeks, gripers, welcome. This is another episode of the SideCast. It's going to be a little different today. Today we actually got Mike here, and we have Ari back uh, in the SideCast, and we're going to go over a very recent topic, Final Fantasy VII, because that's recent. It technically is.
Mhm.
So all the disclaimers as normal. Uh, all the opinions, words spoken, thoughts, ideas, everything we say are our own. They do not reflect on anything employer, anything related. We're just here to have fun and just start a shipping war. I, I feel the internet. I feel Tumblr already reverberating. Okay, so Mike, why don't you go ahead and throw out the topic that brought this sidecast?
So we're gonna talk about Cloud Strife and Aris Gainsborough. And I call her Aris because that was the way it was spelled originally. I don't care. It was an error. I pronounced the S because it had an S at the start of the name. The first time the name was mentioned. Disclaimers. This is going to touch a lot of the original game that was released 20 years ago.
God, I feel old.
So, if you are new to Final Fantasy VII, as much as I love to have viewers, you are warned. We're going to spoil everything about her and Cloud after the fact that the remake ends, which the remake just ends the same way the first disc originally ended. And here comes the first spoiler. Everybody leaves Midgar. So, spoiler alert.
Shocker of
All the way.
shocker of shockers. Also, let's be honest. Spoiler alerts for a game that's 20 years old. I mean, like,
There are people that this is their first time ever experiencing Final Fantasy. We are that old now, unfortunately.
God, that's right. I should put an onion on my belt.
It is.
So, the great Final Fantasy VII, the game that changed the way quite a lot of people saw RPGs, role playing games back in the day. We just got a remake that, let's be honest, we all thought was just a myth, a legend, like Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Tooth Fairy, an honest politician. Lies we tell ourselves to feel better at night. So Ari, how certain were you that this game was gonna come out? I'm sure. I remember you were a total believer it was gonna come out, right?
Yeah, I believe it as much as I believe Kingdom Hearts 3 was gonna come out.
And there we go. We ended
They
up.
both came out, so hey.
Yep, they both came out because nostalgia, money, gameplay, all that good
Exactly.
stuff. So, from my understanding, I haven't played the remake. Ari hasn't played the remake. Mike, you've been the only one in this chat that's played the remake. So, a few things are different story wise, right?
I think Aeris is actually very different from the Aeris in the original game, honestly.
I do
We'll
have
touch
an
into
opinion
that.
on that. Yeah, I do have an opinion about that.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, so the remake touched upon a lot of different things. It it wasn't meant to be a straight up remake because, and I'll let Ari dive into this. The Final Fantasy VII universe is a bit bigger than the original game.
Yes, like that game is composed of the OG three disc. It was three discs, right?
Yeah,
Three disc.
Final Fantasy VII was
The first OG Final
three discs.
Fantasy
Yep.
VII OG was three discs. Then it has another side game which is on PSP, which is Crisis Core. And then there's a PS2 game which is was focused on Vincent,
Yeah,
side of the story of him and how did he end it and all his stuff, and then it includes the movies, like basically to have the whole concept of what the world is for this game, you had to play all of those things and watch all of the movies. Like if you didn't, you wouldn't have the whole grasp of the game, of how amazing this world is in reality.
So that was one of the things that um was in the minds of the developers, from my understanding. Basically, this is their vision of what the game really should have been,
Mm-hmm.
with all the story that they had to cut out, because they were literally going from cartridges to CDs, first time ever.
Mm.
So
Ever.
a lot of things were left in the cutting room floor. And even still, with that, the game was a huge impact on gamers. Not only for the gameplay, which at the time, I know right now the old Final Fantasy VII gameplay is dated as hell, but back in the day, that was revolutionary. Like like jaws dropped to the floor. But also the story, like the story kept the whole Final Fantasy theme after Final Fantasy VI, which was number 3 in the U.S., giving us characters that had interesting backstories, developments, and even stuff that we didn't get to see because of the limitations. And I guess one of those was Eris. Which give me a description of how our favorite little cinnamon roll is in the remake, Mike.
So
She's the
Aris game,
fuck.
well, Aris is very different on the remake. In contrast to the original game, in this version of the game, and the creators do admit this is a different timeline, but the stories should play out the same. Eris seems to already know the future, and she already seems to know of all her powers. Now, the difference is that because of what's going to happen in the next remake, and I'm going to avoid the spoiler until much later, she seems to like already be in this eternally sassy state, which she was kind of sassy in the first game, but she's a lot more sassy in this version. I mean, I will be honest, and remember, this is live. So I would have never, ever thought of Eris just yelling out the word shit in a game. And she did. And it was funny.
Well, again,
So
our little cinnamon roll became a spicy cinnamon roll.
she
Yeah,
always
she's
was
totally
a
different.
spicy cinnamon roll in my thinking. Like, consider the fact that there wasn't much space to make character development as obvious,
True.
and consider that they focused themselves on Cloud in the first game, and in this one they gave a personality to everyone, because the internet was talking about everything, all the memes from Eric, like the share one, bless my life. That share one bless me, okay? And it's just that they, like he says, like when you play in the original one, you don't see her as this. She's sassy, but she's not like this sassy, right? Like she's like a brat. And
And I
then
go ahead, go
then you
ahead.
like, and then you go on the remake, and this full flesh character is a person. You can relate with her like to a level. It's really good what they did with this remake on the characters. At least I think so. It's really great.
I think it's better. I know our other member of the Geeks and Greg squad is totally hating the game right now, without even playing it.
And
But
we respect his wrong opinion, but
yes, we respect his wrong opinion. Yes, but this game was so interesting that they even made a secondary boring character like Jessie, straight out the best female character in the game. Like I love Jessie. Like I almost would have picked her over Tifa and Aris in this game.
she
Here, be-
wants some.
here begin the shipping wars.
No,
It
no, really, dude. Jessie was really funny. She really wants. I'm gonna just talk normal. Like she wants that day, and she's not afraid to get it. Like There's some like the female characters in this game in the remake at least they're ridiculously strongly made. Like they're and I'm not talking about powers and shit. I'm talking how their presence just shines through way better than the male characters, right? Which is something that for me is not normal in the Final Fantasy franchise unless the character is the main character.
Yeah, and Jesse made it clear, as Ari said, that she definitely wanted the D.
Yeah,
Yes,
right? She
she
became
made it clear. She was entirely direct. She was never like doing this read between the line thing. No, she was completely direct and clear, and she made it clear like upon first setting eyes on Cloud. She did not like was even indirect about it at
right?
all.
Like considering the fact that this is a Japanese game and Japan is really conservative, the way they wrote many of these females is really into the now, right?
Yes.
And Jessie is just one of those characters. Like she just a female that wants something, she will get it. She doesn't care about what you think about her. She just gonna go get it. She wants it, she will get it,
Al-
which is amazing.
Also, I do love the fact that they actually fleshed out Cloud. You know, because I don't know for all those youngins out there that never played the original game, Cloud didn't talk.
At all.
That
At
was
all.
that was the joke. The joke is he never spoke.
He's
Like
a mute.
yeah, like remember how Link only goes yeah, huh, all that. Well, yeah, Cloud was like four dots. That was it. And
He does that a lot though. Like everybody's always messing with Cloud now, saying Cloud's
You
signature
know,
speech is uh, uh.
well,
That's his. He still does it a lot.
yeah, because he went from mute to like edge lord.
or he always said that he would do anything for money. That was the funniest one though. Like, oh, are you gonna pay? How much does he pay?
Cloud is definitely starts the game off as a complete like extreme right winger in a way. He literally complains about people, and I quote him. He did say this in the game. What, get free shit?
So
He literally says those words on the game.
so we actually have like actual character development, especially considering that if you, as Ari said, if you go into the other games, Cloud was a bit more fleshed out in those games. So was Ares. So was Tifa. Like all the characters did get a bit more story, but it was because of that. They needed more games to actually flesh out this story. Unlike other games, Final Fantasy VIII. Oh man, I got a cough there.
You have to give that game a chance. You have to give that game a chance, man. Just
Yeah,
because
dude.
nobody has ever understood the story still to this date doesn't mean it's wrong.
Look, don't get
Oh,
me.
we understand it. It's just not good compared to the others.
Yeah,
We
like
understand it. It's just not good.
like I get the story. The story just sucked. Like don't get me wrong. I actually liked the way you got like magic in that game. The draw system. It was interesting, and it made for some tense boss battles. I love the summons in that game. The summons in the game were some of the best. Like you had summons that you had never seen and probably will never see again. Um,
Yeah, but you have to play Final 7 Remake. They actually do something that I've never seen before or I don't remember before. A summon can actually summon.
a,
I think there's one. I think there's one in the OG game that does that.
a summon that can summon.
A summon
Yeah.
that can summon. And if you don't defeat if you kill the original summon and you don't kill the other summon, the battle doesn't end. You have to kill both of them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
See now I'm trying to think.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, sounds like a pain.
No, and the original summon is Bahamut, so
Oh, Peachy, because
it's already hard.
You
And he
know.
summons Ifrit with him.
oh yeah, whatever. The Dragon King, God of Hellfire. Yeah, sure, why not? Just throw a Tomberry King in there. Why don't you?
There is a quest for the
No.
Thumberry King, and it was
Oh
horrible.
No, no, thank you. That gave me nightmares. I don't want more Tomberry Kings in my life.
Like it had this attack you love so much. It's called Chef's
Yep,
Knife.
yep,
Like insta kill.
yeah. No, between that and bad karma, I'm already getting flashbacks.
no.
It's like, oh, look at this. I hit it, and 99999. What happened? he waved this little lantern at me and stuff fell from the sky and I'm dead. Okay,
You know
cool.
what the most about that monster? That he's the cutest.
Oh
Like
no.
he looks cute as hell, but he just gives you fear the moment you see him. I kind of fawn over him because I know what's gonna happen.
Oh no, he's adorable. Same as the cactuars. Cactuars are adorable, adorable until you remember the 1,000 needles and the 10,000 needles attacks, and then they stop being cute and they just start being nightmare fuel.
And in Final 15, there's a Tomberry that actually pulls out a lightsaber.
So
What?
so Yoda. So they got
Yeah, and there are three of them.
Oh my god,
And they
no,
fight just
no,
like Yoda. Like if you ever watch a Yoda fight, they fight just like that. It was
no, thank,
horrible.
no, gracias,
nah, I'm
señor. No,
good. I'm
thank you.
good. No, thank you.
Look,
So, we've given a bit of a background on everything. So Mike, what led to this sidecast? What did you have in mind that you
So
wanted to bring out to the world?
So as a male straight nerd, I have always been confused as to women. Even though I got married, I'm still confused how I got married. So that's how horrible it is. So I've never understood the women mind. I think that's normal for everyone, but I think as a straight male nerd, it's even worse for me. So I don't want to focus on Tifa right now, but we might have to like shift to her at some point. But it's I've always wanted to know what was going on between Cloud and Aerith, because I played the entire game, I played the remake, and it kind of seems like Aerith never really wanted Cloud to be with her. She just saw him as a reminder of Zack Fair. Oops, sorry, spoiler. And I just want to start with like going throughout the entire Midgar scene. First time she sees Cloud, whether she had the weird ghosts following her in the remake or not, is as the flower girl. So they just blew up a reactor. She meets Cloud. She offers Cloud a flower. If you didn't accept the flower, I question your reasons for living. But she gives Cloud a flower. Right there, she sees this blonde person dressed exactly like Zack Fair, who used to be her only supposed true love, and this guy comes out with the same sword, the same getup as Zack Fair. What happened there? Did Ares already started liking this guy, or this is something that just was a coincidence?
oh hell
That
no! I don't think she likes him at all. I don't know. I am not. I don't believe Arid ever saw Cloud as a romantic interest at all. I believe she, like you said, is a reminder of Zack. Like Crisis Core made it like in when I played the OG game, I was like, okay, so what's up within these two? Like, cause there's something there. You just don't get it because of course the writing wasn't that well fleshed out. Crisis Core made it solid for me to believe that she never saw Cloud as a romantic interest.
so I need to play Crisis Core then.
Yeah, you do. Like literally you do. Like if you wanna understand Aerith's way of acting and stuff towards everyone, you need to see Zack. Zack is a vital thing in that story, and I really hope they implement him in the remake because you don't understand how fucked up it is what happened to Cloud till you play that game, and you don't understand how much it affected him till you play that game. And it didn't just affected him; it affected a certain point Aerith and Tifa. And if you wanna go and put it in an extreme, the Turks. So that game it really fleshes out the prequel, what happens before Final Fantasy VII. So a lot of people didn't play it because it was PSP, and not many people have PSP and all that stuff. But the game is really well written. It's beautiful. It does give you a general idea of what Zack is and how much he cared about everyone, how much he was against what was happening with Shinra. Shinra, it is?
Yeah.
Yes. Shinra. and you just need to play that game. It's a must. I heavily believe that you must play that game and then play Final Fantasy VII,
Okay, Dex,
remake or original otherwise.
is there an maybe way
Yeah,
to play Clarice's Core?
yeah, there are
Yes, there are
many.
yo ho kind of ways. Which honestly, I'm gonna throw this right out there. Square Enix made a very huge mistake in not doing what they did with Kingdom Hearts and not releasing like a package. Be like, okay, so here is the lead up to Final Fantasy Remake. Have Crisis Core, have Dirge of Cerberus, have the Final Fantasy VII movie. Because why not? Just have
I
all.
think you considering how long it took them to make this game, though, like you would think, oh yeah, but it took them really long to make that game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So
Like
like,
they should have like thrown these out and be like, hey, just like with Kingdom Hearts, we gave you like Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Alpha Mega Pi Edition.
that's so much different,
Yeah,
bro.
let's just throw these games out there. But there are ways to do it. As somebody who likes a particular PSP game that you can't really find anywhere anymore unless you get a PlayStation 4 and get like the remaster version.
Hmm.
There are ways to do it. You just have to find them, which is
Yeah.
yo ho matey.
uh
Remember,
But
you can't sing the
I
song where Disney will come after us.
Exactly. Yeah. Disney's already hard up for money. I don't want them to send the lawyers for like $5 or something.
but honestly, I don't believe Eri ever saw Cloud as a relationship, and more because you said that they say that she knows her future. I think that was pretty obvious of how she was playing in the first original game. She knew she was. Dude, we need to say a spoiler. Like it's
Okay.
been 20 years.
So
It's been 20 years.
spoiler alert, but if you've lived under a rock for the last 20 years and know nothing of video game lore, memes, etc.,
Or are young.
yeah, we're going to shock you with the following. Eris doesn't really survive. She
When she does, when she gets the part of the sacrifice, because that was literally a sacrifice. She knew that was gonna happen. And in the movie, in the movie, they expand that sacrifice, right? Because of the material that she has in her ribbon. That material is ridiculously important in this whole universe thing, right?
Yep.
And they need a sacrifice apparently to do something with that material, and she is it, and she knows this, and you can see because she acts like someone that's gonna die any moment now, right? So she just doesn't take shit. She just does this. She levels up ridiculously fast, and she's the most powerful member in your team. A white mage is the powerful member of the team. If that doesn't trigger anyone, I don't know what will. Okay.
Which is really funny because if you played the original game, you get to the point where it's gonna be the sacrifice. You don't know it's gonna be the sacrifice. You're in this particular area, and you're like, hell yeah! Like Aerith is gonna be the main character in my team. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm unstoppable.
She had all her supers out. She's like higher. I already have revive and life with her.
Yeah.
I am super powerful. Nothing can stop me. And then that shit happens, and you lose your white mage.
And then yeah, you lose your healer. So for anyone who plays MMOs or pen and paper RPGs, you know what it's like to lose your healer. And now imagine having to do the trek out of where you were without a healer. Because it never
Mm-hmm.
dawned on you, maybe I should be prepared just in case.
No, and you have to fight Genova immediately after she dies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so
Ar-
it's
Ari's getting
that part.
PTSD flashbacks.
That part is shocking. It's not shocking because she dies. It's because all the shit that you have to do after she dies, right? Because You weren't prepared. You did not expect to lose your best character in your team. You did not prepare for this. You did not make a backup. You just play with whichever two characters you like and air it, right? So that's why it's so shocking, that scene.
Also,
However, uh-huh.
that scene is what triggers most gamers, including myself, to as soon as they can like load up on Phoenix Downs potions, high potions at any particular point, we do. We just do. Just in case. You never know.
Hmm. So yeah, but the scene that happens after you manage to get out, which is the water scene, the pond scene, when they throw her in a pond, right? That, I think that's what makes most people believe that there was a romantic interest in there, right?
I mean, what did Cloud think though? Cloud, I mean, she probably could have known everything, but Cloud did not. So was Cloud even conflicted between
I
Tifa and
believe.
Aerith?
Okay, so I don't think Cloud had any relationship emotions or attractive emotions toward her. I think Klaus saw her the same way that he saw Zack, like sibling there. So when he is doing the whole water scene, a lot of people went like, oh yeah, this is beautiful, that's he's just losing his lover and all that stuff. I actually saw a friend or a sibling, giving the last goodbye that they could give to that person that influenced their life. Because again, Zack doesn't remember anything, but he has this feeling that something is there, right? Like, oh, this woman reminds me of this person, but who does he remind me of, right? So suffering from partial memory loss or complete memory loss, it does have those kind of moments of deja vu moments. He just lost. For me, that scene just represents that he lost Zack twice and he doesn't even know it. He has these two people sacrifice themselves for him and he still hasn't connected that yet, right? So for me, Cloud is one of the characters which people put him with complicated emotions when in reality he most of the time doesn't really know what the hell is going on.
I mean, he thought he was Zack at some point. Like, not Zack, but he thought he was a soldier, first
No,
class on top of that.
oh, oh no, he didn't thought he was soldier for class. He thought he was full blown Zack. That's the whole thing. And if you play Crisis Core, you will understand why he thought he was Zack.
Okay. So that's another reason why I should play Crisis Core.
Yeah, like I could tell you if you want, but I don't know how you take like people tell you how the game goes because it shows what happens when they escape the Shinram thing, which he was put in the materia thing. That's the name. Like what they do to create super soldiers, like they put them in a pod.
Oh yeah, that weird
Uh-huh.
um
So
green stuff.
so so they put Cloud on that thing, and that is what made him go crazy and forget everything. Besides the fact that he was almost near dead. So after Zack escapes with him, Zack spends like 3 months or so. I don't remember. He spends a long time escaping Shinra, while Shinra and the Turks, I think, are hunting them down to kill them. So this whole time, Zack talks to him constantly, every time. Have in mind that he's like in a vegetative state, so he can listen. So you have this character talking to you all this time about, look, I have this girl at home, I've been writing her letters. This is another big thing why I don't believe Eric saw him as a romantic interest, a Cloud, because Zack wrote to her every day for like as long as he was doing his thing. There were around like 34 letters, 54, there were a lot of letters, which Eric only received like one or two letters of those because they were intercepted.
Oh
And th-
wow.
So
and then on a side note, this is why in Final Fantasy IX we have the greatest mail carriers in all of Final Fantasy, the Moogles.
so yeah.
Yes, I'm being sarcastic because you actually have to deliver letters for them. That's how useless they are.
So, so these letters, you only know about them in the end, right? When after Zack is killed and he is in his deathbed talking to him still, like while you're being attacked and you're carrying Cloud and you're like completely tired of dude. This that scene is the best freaking scene I have seen in all the Final Fantasy franchise. And this is from someone that says the goat of Final Fantasy. It's 10. Okay, like that scene is really heartbreaking. So it gives you the understanding of the mental state Cloud was in when he snaps from that vegetative state. All this time he lived a life that he doesn't even know that it wasn't him living it. It was his friend Zack this whole time. But he doesn't remember. So what does he connect? Oh, so if I remember all these things that happened, that must mean those were me. So I'm soldier first class. I am this sack. That's the whole thing. That I tell you, if you wanna know more about Cloud, play Crisis Core. Please play Crisis Core. Like it's literally you need to. It's a must. Like you cannot understand a lot of the things in the story without it. That's why I'm hoping that they introduce them in the remake. I really hope they do.
You mean Zack and Cloud?
Yeah, the whole story, even if they can put like flashbacks or like side quests or mini missions or DLC, I don't care. They need to implement that story they did in Crisis Core into the remake, because that way you can understand a lot of things, right?
So without spoiling too much, Zack Fair is in the game.
He's in the game. I think they did like a lot of change, and I know he's there. So, but is he there like in the
All I can say
how
is
do I
whatever. All I can say is that everything that you're talking about is not mentioned in the game at all.
at all exactly. So you did say that they say that this was a side alternative universe thing.
Yes, they said it was
I
an alternative timeline.
Yeah, so if it is an alternative timeline and they do change that whole crisis core thing, to my thinking that makes the game, like for me, like go from a 10 to a 7. Crisis core is really the best writing they have done. Do understand that they put the writer from Kingdom Hearts into this game, which I am not really excited about. But I'm just saying, if you do have the chance, do play the 7, the Crisis Core one. It will give you background on Cloud, background on Zack, background Aerith, Tifa, the Turks. It will give you so much stuff that it wasn't in the original game, and it will open your eyes to some things that maybe you didn't even notice in the remake.
So if anybody is listening to this, same goes for you too, by the way. So the third thing that I wanted to then ask or discuss is, did Eris know or feel? I guess that's gonna be yes, but I still want to hear the explanation. Did Eris know or feel or knew ahead of time that there was a thing going on between Cloud and Tifa?
I mean, you don't have to be blind. You could be blind and you could see the relationship between them. Considering the fact that Tifa and Cloud were the boy and girl next door. Like they raise each other together, all the stuff, blah blah blah. The problem in here is they're both idiots. So
isn't that how true romance is anyways?
no. They are both idiots. My especially like I can forgive Cloud because the memory loss, the whole impersonating another person syndrome thing. I can completely forgive him for being a complete dumbass and not trying to shoot his shot into this beautiful lady. But Tifa is dumb as shit. She had years to do like, hey Cloud, do you want some of this? And she never did, ever. And she even assumed that there was something between uh him and Eric too at some point. It's like, it's stupid. Like, just girl, just do it. Just do a Jesse. Go for the D.
See that,
Right?
that's the beauty part. It's like, girl, you have this woman over here who will literally just pick him up and drag him to bed if you don't do anything. You need to snap to it, hun. You need to get moving.
Yeah. Really. She like, there it's obvious that the writers want it. Like, the relationship between these two people, guys. Dude, Crisis Core, the game of Vincent Valentine, right? That game,
Dirge, yeah.
the OG game, and the movie, and Tifa does not shoot her shot at all, dude. Do you know how frustrating that is? Like, Cloud isn't gonna move. That dude is a freaking sofa. He will not do the first move ever.
I think this is a good time to mention all, I guess, female or males, depending on your orientation. If you like a sofa, you have to make the first move because the sofa will not move. Just a word of advice. I personally am a sofa too. So
Yeah, most guys are sofas. Let's just be honest. Like, there is no secret. We're just oblivious and nah, man. We
It's really obvious that it's really obvious that Tifa wants him, right? We know this since, like, probably they drew the characters in the development table, and they were like, oh yeah, this and this guy, they're gonna get it, and they never do. It's frustrating. It's freaking frustrating.
see
Okay.
now I'm just wondering if, like, while they were writing that, Miyazaki came in and it's like, so you know what would be really great if these two never got together? Cause I'm sorry, I love Miyazaki, I love his films, but he has a way of just saying, "Hey, you
This
see this perfect couple? Yeah, they're never gonna get together."
or never, but dude, but you do understand, like, right? Like, it's just Cloud isn't. I don't want to stereotype, but Cloud is really the dude that everything just goes through him, like, right? Like, nothing, just he doesn't get anything at all. Oblivious to a problematic core. He's oblivious, right? He only cares about one thing only, Sephiroth. That's the only fucking thing he cares.
Which,
And then
which, if
and
you
then
if you ask any Tumblr artist, is their ship.
there's a ship. There's a ship about everything. But Tifa does. Tifa is. I think Tifa, the love of his life is literally Cloud, and you know that what that means, that she literally would not look at anyone else but him. And in my mind, after the movie, they actually do get together. I am really fucking hoping they do, in my mind. But in reality, like, Cloud is the problem in this whole relationship thing, because he really doesn't do anything. He doesn't shoot his shot. He doesn't call her attention, while Tifa is just looking there like a snack. But at least that's what I think. So that relationship, yes, I do believe that one is the relationship in the game, right? But it's a sofa and a very very hyperactive cat trying to jump on the sofa, and the sofa says no. I don't
so
know. I
so
don't
I'm
know how
gonna
to.
I'm gonna bring up a scene in the remake where Cloud tells Tifa for the first time about Aerith. And like the first thing Tifa asks Cloud um, is she like a friend? Like she literally asked that question. Like she's a friend, right?
See, and at this point, she fails to see the true predator in the room, which is Jesse. Like Jesse will just jump on him. So
See, the thing is, look, Jesse was obvious, like direct and whatnot, but
She played it myself.
I'm gonna start spoiling a lot. Since
Go.
they build on her character a lot in this version of the game, Jesse really cares about Tifa, and when she dies, oops, spoiler. Um, the last thing she was concerned about before dying on that tower was that she made Tifa cry. And that was like she was completely sad and unhappy that she made Tifa cry.
We
That
stand
was
a
like
bisexual queen. We stand a bisexual queen. There we go. Ah, yes.
one of the last things she said. It was like, oh no, I made Tifa cry. I'm so sorry.
Love
So
Jesse. I just love Jesse, man. So it's just, I told you, dude, like, the relationship in this game are pretty obvious, on my understanding, right? I mean, you can check whatever. I'm a personal fan of Earthy, which is Iris and Tifa. Yes. But you can the relationships are very clear in there, right? Like Tifa with Cloud, Aerith with Zack, and Sephiroth with whoever the fuck he wants. I don't know if
and
they have different dudes in there,
and
but
what's her name? Yuffie.
Yuffie is
You
with whatever pocket that she can steal.
exactly Yuffie with all your shit.
Exactly. So honestly, I believe those are relationships the game intended to put out. Obviously, because they make everything so open to interpretation. That's when all the ships and all this stuff comes out. And the problem with the ships in this franchise, at least in my opinion, is that they all make sense. They all fucking make sense. Like, how? How? Like I can totally see Zack with Cloud. I can totally see Zack with Tifa. I can totally see Zack because they made the characters so easily likable that you can mold them with anyone, which is brilliant in my opinion. But the OGs like Aerith with Cloud, nah. Cloud with Tifa, if Cloud stopped being a sofa, maybe. But
once you're a sofa, you're always a sofa, my opinion.
I
So
heavily disagree. But
okay.
that's more on my understand on my views of things. Like you don't need to be a sofa all the time. Sometimes you can be a futon.
You can bend.
Mm-hmm. But
What say you, Dex?
all I'm thankful is that we have acknowledged that the one true ship is the real one, which is Cloud and Tifa.
if you
I begin the shipping
Okay.
wars.
Okay, so let's answer this question then. When you play the original game, and I'll ask this to everyone, that scene in the Cosmo Canyon where you could either get Tifa, Aerith, or Barrett on a date, who did you get?
Tifa,
Barrett,
Tifa, obviously.
obviously Tifa, dude. Like it makes sense. It's Tifa. Erin is cute. I don't like crap, but the relationship it was very obvious. Like
Yeah,
anyone with eyes could see it.
I'll be honest. I always, whenever I like look back in that game, I don't see Eris as like a potential romance for Cloud. I literally see her as
The older sister.
yeah,
I literally see her like the
yeah.
older sister, like that annoying older sister, right? That she called you on your shit.
No,
That one.
I always saw her as the overprotective, like no,
Mm.
like the sister that knows more than she lets on because she knows that the little brother's still too young to know what's gonna happen.
Mm. Mm.
So
But
funnily, I got Aerith on the date.
Of
okay,
course, because you believe in the ship. That's literally that's your first test. The
Well, the thing
first
is,
thing that
like,
you.
I
Huh?
treated everybody in the game. What I did and I do all the time is I treat everybody like nice. I don't treat anybody like horrible. So I guess if you do that, the game sets you up with Aerith for some reason. So they do that in the remake as well. You can get Tifa, Aerith, and Barret just in a very, very earlier scene. Somehow Aerith, if you get Aerith, she has Jedi power and she can astral project herself. But
Okay.
yeah, supposedly I haven't seen the scene. The second time round, they found a way to break the tie. Like if you are extremely nice to both Aerith, Tifa, and include Barret in there, the game just puts you in a scene, where Don Corneo just drops them to the sewer. What happens is that they Cloud recovers first, and both Aerith and Tifa are knocked out, like unconscious. So they make you choose who you want to wake up first. And that's how they break the tie. So in this version of the game, since they were a lot more clear about like Aerith, because Aerith knew from a start that Cloud had something with someone else, because the first thing she asked Cloud is, what happened to the flower? And Cloud was like,
couch
and
mode.
She's like,
couch mode activated. That's what he said.
well, yeah, no, and she goes like, did you give her to someone? And it's like, yeah. And the first thing she's like, ooh, who was it?
See that?
And Cloud,
that's an older
Someone
sister
that
right
is-
there.
Yeah, someone that is interested in you. The moment that you say, "Yeah, I gave it to someone else," your reaction is not, "Ooh, did I get?" Your reaction is like, "Oh, okay, who?"
yeah,
Very different.
that wasn't like she said who, but she was like, ooh, she like,
Exactly.
ooh.
With interest. With interest. Like there's a difference between disappointment and excitement.
And Cloud never says he, but eventually she figures out it was Tifa. But then because of that particular reaction in this version of the game, like when they were both unconscious, I'm like, it would make sense for me to go wake up Tifa first. And I woke Tifa up, and apparently that was the tiebreaker. During that scene, I got Tifa. And it's very interesting because you should play the game then, the remake, because Cloud didn't seem that Sofa-ish in that version of the game.
He will always be a sofa.
Yeah, it's just that in this one they gave him an actual a bit more of a personality. Versus
Right?
versus the ...
Silence. That's the thing that I like about the remake a lot. And again, I will say it till I die. They flesh out the characters to a point that they became relatable. Right? I cannot wait for the others to get introduced, especially Daddy Vincent.
Which is an actual, like, it's not a side quest. I heard you do get him, because that's
Wait,
that's
what?
criminal. Yeah, it's not a side
Are
quest.
you serious? No, they need to suffer. They need to suffer. They need to fight him.
No.
They should make Yuffie and Vincent optional the same way they made them in the other game.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
apparently they are, like, you will get to them. That's what they said, that they aren't going to be optional, that the story will drive you to them.
So I'm going to find something very interesting. This game, contrary to Rich's opinion, everybody's always talking shit, literally. That they're always going to be saying shit, asshole, etc. And they're like, Rich is like, why are they messing my game up? It's like, wait, these people live under a disc full of contamination from the upper side. How do you think they're going to be?
I have a question. Rich is the other dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I don't understand how. Okay, this is another thing. I don't understand how can you whine about a game without even playing it or experience it even in like Twitch form or something like that, right? It makes no sense. I understand that you have nostalgia goggles on, but you need to experience the remake. It's not bad. It's literally been the most positive thing Square Enix has dropped in years.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they copied a lot of the animations and assets from Final 15, but everybody knows that Final 15 was just there to make Final 7 happen.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much that, and the Hangover Final Fantasy edition.
All I care about is they finish 7 so they can do 10-3. That's all I care about.
I really wish they would make six. Honestly, I'm a Kefka person, and I really want to see how they would redo the game in 3D, especially when he
Honestly, if you want to see a sample of that, Final Fantasy 14, they had a crossover, like an event where
Mm,
they brought Kefka, and yeah,
beautiful.
one of the hardest raids. Also, they redid Dancing Mad like for the game, and it sounds beautiful. And you get to go on Phantom Train as well. You can't suplex it though, but let's be honest, only Sabine has the muscles
and
upon
the
muscles
machismo.
and the machismo to suplex Phantom Train. Everybody else, just fight it.
He's like the Brock Lesnar of Final Fantasy.
Pretty much.
So that is interesting. The I've never played 10-2. I've always wanted to. I think I'm gonna buy it at some point.
That's so good.
They have the game in bundles now. Go
Mm-hmm.
buy it. I personally if I don't, it's like I had a hard time with the story. But if I remember the music to this day, it would have to mean that the game had one of the best musics ever. Um,
Like the thing with Final Fantasy X is that it's in my opinion it's what Final Fantasy VII was for the PlayStation 1, but for the PlayStation 2 just taken to like 100 times more, because they went with more characters, more intrigue. I honestly I love the sphere leveling system,
Yes.
and I'm old school. Like I'm old school. I prefer like individual jobs and everything, but that the sphere leveling system gave you the freedom to basically do whatever team you wanted to in whatever form you wanted to. And it had challenges for completionists. It had challenges, but at the same time, it rewarded you. It's like, oh, you went through all this to get everything you could. So, well, here's the actual ending. And then if you do the same for 10-2, it's like, oh, by the way, this is the resolution to that ending. This
I
is
need to play. I need to play that game. I still remember the commercials from the game when I was little. They had like the three ladies singing on the commercial.
yeah, I
So
remember.
way different, way different. My reaction was I think my reaction was actually the same as many people. Saw Yuna like with those short shorts. Like I just, it was a clash of the two. Like, what did
Well,
they do to my baby?
I think that happened to me because I was like I never played 10, but I saw the commercial for 10 too. I was like I didn't react at the time, but then when I did play 10, I was like, wait, is that Yuna?
Which is
How?
not Yuna. It's not Yuna, by the way. So
Okay, I'm like, but what
the way
happened?
that,
No, no, you play the game, bro. That's the thing.
I mean, I could tell you, because
No,
10 and 10-2 to me are mwah, chef kiss. So they are really good games. They have really good story. But
I think I'm gonna get them because I it's been a while. I talk all this crap about, and good crap I mean, about six. I talk all this garbage about 10 and six, eight, nine, and 10. I've actually never played them more than once. I have to play them often now.
I think I've played six like 4 times, seven about two, eight only once, nine like 3 times, 10 about 4 times. I think. Yeah.
I need to do that. But don't play 12 more than once. Play 12 once and then never play it again.
Well, the thing with 12 is that they they fixed some of the things in the remake kind of thing they did. Apparently,
mhm.
I haven't played it, and honestly, I'm tempted to play it now that I heard that they fixed that. Cause like I hated the backtracking. I hated the like a lot of things of 12, and apparently they made it less taxing and more actual Final Fantasy ish. So, I might have to get
And
into that.
I don't know.
I mean,
I like, go ahead, go ahead.
didn't they try to do a lot of experimental stuff with 12 that they put in the new generation of Final Fantasy, but that being in PS4 and Xbox One X,
Mm-hmm.
right?
What?
Like I think most of the things that they experimented on 12 went to 13.
Yeah. Uh, I didn't like 13 to be honest, but it had a couple good things. I never played the other 13s though. I only played up to 13. I didn't play the other three.
13 for me was painful. It was because of one character. One character just I hate him so much.
Okay.
The dude
So
with the
much.
yellow hair.
I fucking hope. Yes. Dude, I hate him so much. He's like the worst character in any Final Fantasy, okay? Kefka kill and poison people. He destroy half of the world, and I still love him more than I love this dude.
so
Okay?
so basically, if Ari was in a room with Kefka and that dude, and she had a gun with two bullets, she would shoot the dude twice.
Twice, and I will make Kefka kill him. Well, I will beat the crap out of him with Kefka. Okay? That's how much I hate that dude. He's the worst character in the whole he ruins 13 for me, honestly. Because he sucks. But 13 wasn't that bad.
It was just linear, but
Mm-hmm.
I complain about linear games, but then you realize this game was extremely like high graphics for a PlayStation 3. And what else would they be able to do? They won't be able to do an open world with the hardware that they had.
I
So
know.
I come to just learn to accept that these were all like hardware limitations.
See,
I always complained. Sure, go ahead.
I don't agree with that because Final Fantasy X had hardware limitations, and even still, they made an amazing game. It had linear parts, and it had more open world parts, and it had a much better story. Honest, like I can't give that
No,
excuse for the
that's
game.
true. Like the writing is not dependent on your hardware, but your overworld could be. Like if your writing is horrible, then your writing is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the same thing I had with Ocarina of Time. The reason I didn't like the Zelda 3Ds is because they always felt like you were going to a lobby and then you're going to a branch off that lobby. But when I realized it, it's like, oh, this is the first time they're doing something 3D. Maybe they just couldn't do an open world at all because there was no hardware that could be able to process all that. So I've come to just humble myself and learn to say, like, my opinion was wrong. This was the best thing they could have done with what they had. If the writing sucked, that's something else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
True, true.
and Ocarina of Time was not a victim of bad writing. So I've just learn to just learn that hey, this is a time where fine between the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 4, there's been almost 20 years, but all this time they didn't have the hardware power to make a game like, for example, Breath of the Wild. Now you can make Breath of the Wild with a stupid Tegra CPU that can go in a phone. But now we have the hardware to produce the type of game that everybody always wanted.
And
Um,
I think that's why we have so many remakes, right? Because they finally can put that dream and fulfill it complete to completion, right? You don't have to have like a million side games to fulfill that game, to fulfill the story, right? Because I always said it, and I will die on this hill. Final Fantasy VII is not a complete game. And it's obvious it's not a complete game, right? You can see it because you finish with way more questions than answers, and you could replay that game 100 times and you will always have the same fucking questions because they're not answered anywhere in the game at all, right? And that's why I'm really pumped about the remake because they probably gonna do like, hey, do you remember this thing that we left that we didn't answer? Hey, let's do it right now and put it in the game. Hey, do you remember this part? How about we do it this way? Because this is how I imagine it would look. Okay, let's go. So I am really pro the remake industry, but I am not pro using remakes only to keep companies alive. You can have original games on the side, right? So that is
Original games? What's that?
Oh, now you're complaining to a writer about original games.
But yeah.
Um, but I think what you said is happening because, for example, Sephiroth is alive, and they never really explained how a guy that fell into the precipice of Mako survived. And in this game, they actually make it clear,
Mm,
not that clear that everybody has Genova cells. They don't say that in the game yet,
mm,
but they make it clear that Sephiroth uses his clones over the world to manifest himself back into life, and he uses those same clones to make different versions of Genova appear. So
yeah.
they explain that, which I always wonder. It's like, how is this guy alive? How can this guy teleport? Why is Genova appearing out of nowhere always and in different shapes? Now this game explains it. It's like he's using those clones to make himself either appear as himself, or
Mm,
he's making those clones turn into Genova versions.
You know
And
where they? Do you wanna know where they explain that in the whole Final Fantasy franchises? In the fucking movie.
yeah, and the Advent Children. I'm like,
Yeah, they explain that in the movie. Like, do you see how I'm excited that it's in the game now? I just think this is the best thing that can happen to this franchise. Honestly, I don't care what people say about nostalgia, all that stuff. This is good. This is a good way to see it, and I cannot wait for the next chapter. To be honest.
well, they might force me to buy a PlayStation 5 for it because that's the rumor. So yay, $400 lost. Yay.
I don't know, man.
What?
At the very least, look at it this way. If not, just get an Xbox One, because so far most of the games on Xbox and Xbox Series X are gonna have the dual play thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna release in Xbox like a whole year later.
Yeah.
I'd rather wait
That's literally,
that have to
yeah,
pay
literally waiting.
$500.
Yeah, I'm literally waiting for the same thing. I only have a PS4. I don't have a PS4 Pro, and I don't believe my PlayStation 4 will handle that game well. I have a One X. I'm gonna wait for the game to come in One X. I don't care if I'm playing it a year later. I'm gonna enjoy the game the same as it came out, like that same day a year ago. I don't care
Or
because
or PC Master Race.
that game is on PC.
Probably will. Most of the Final Fantasies are on PC now.
That's true.
Likely, likely. Um.
So,
So
but
yeah, it's I'm gonna. You're gonna from what I can tell, you're gonna like it. We're gonna have to figure out how to get Rich to play it though.
you won't. He
Um,
won't. Like
he's
he
very
needs to went to the humbling arc and he hasn't gone through it. You went. You just said it. You just gotta,
yeah,
just
yeah.
let him be. He will get it there in his own time, even if it is like 20 years later.
Maybe when it's a 50% discount, he just gets it by virtue of it being cheap and plays it.
Uh
So yeah, I think I'm clear. I mean, about FF7's relationship. We might go into the Tifa thing, but I hear from what I witnessed today, I think that a Tifa conversation will be a lot of yelling and cursing at Tifa. So
No,
um
No,
why? I love
at
that girl.
Cloud,
She's a
at Cloud actually.
a clown, not a Tifa. I mean, she's an idiot because she never made a first that step either. But hey, Tifa is a great character. She just the girl next door, and apparently she was waiting for Cloud to make the first move, and Cloud didn't know that he had to make the first move. So they both are in a standstill. Fucking morons.
The unstoppable force meets the unmovable object, basically.
Yep.
they bring up Gorilla Monsoon references from the WWE in 1980s.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's philosophical too, so
Mm.
we'll just go with that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but you can bring the Tifa thing. I mean, the whole thing was to ponder the shipping in the game.
That's
And I
good
forgot.
about That's good about Final Fantasy. There's a lot of ships everywhere.
Mm, mm.
And
Ships,
not maybe
ships,
not on
ships
seven.
everywhere.
Yeah, maybe not on 7-6 though. And 6 is just a lot of death and devastation and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing again and laughing.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. You do have some ships in 6, but eh, 4 now. 4 has more ships, in my opinion.
Now I'll say this, and maybe the Matsuhita Corporation. Yes, that is you, Sony. Um, if you want me to get to buy a PS5, you only have two options. One, Final Fantasy 7 2. I don't know what you're gonna call it. Or two, any Dragon Quest game. One of those two, or I won't buy it.
And honestly,
Wow.
I doubt that they're gonna become exclusive because like you can play Dragon Quest on PC now as well. So I think Square has seen the possibility of multi platforms and gone like, hey, you know what? This is the best part.
Yeah, it's easier. Square Enix, do you know what you need to do to get the geeks money and make them buy a PS5 like while crying because they're gonna eat ramen for weeks? Easy. Remake Legend of Dragoon. That's all you have to do, and you will see them flocking to buy the console.
I'm
That's
not gonna
all you need.
I'm not gonna lie. If they remake Legend of Dragoon or somehow, some way manage to um, bring back Breath of Fire, I'm buying a
Yeah,
PlayStation 5.
that's what you need. That's what you need.
It's like don't focus on on the Call of Duty fanboys. Just focus on the RPGs. They're the guys who'll drop tons of money. Hell, if you say we're making a Legend of Dragoon remake and the special ultra hyper mega deluxe one time only edition has like scale figures of all the dragoons,
I will
people
buy it so
people
hard.
will sell their kidneys. I'll sell my kidneys. I want that. I'm just
You can only
saying.
sell one, by the way. You can't speak in plural.
You're bold of you to assume I'm saying my kidneys.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Bold of you to assume that, but you know.
FBI agent that is listening to this, I do not agree or consent to what he just
She's like, I'm not an accessory. I'm not an accessory.
said. But yeah, but basically that's what at least my views on the Final Fantasy relationship, triangles, prism, or whatever it is in this game. That's what it is. I will have to wait till I can play the remake, which is in a year or so. So once I play the remake, I will probably have some changes on the topics. Honestly, probably not, but
Yeah, let's be honest.
uh,
Probably not.
yeah, I
Likely
probably
not.
won't. Yeah, but likely not. But I will appreciate a lot more characters and stuff. So I'm really excited to wait the year and play that game.
Okay.
And Iris says shit, and I like that. She says shit.
She's a spicy cinnamon roll now.
Yeah, she's a spicy
Spicy.
cinnamon roll.
Or she's a cinnamon roll with a shot of whiskey on the side.
She's the cutest.
Yeah. Okay, so we've explored the shipping wars of Final Fantasy VII. Hopefully, those who listen and watch this have gained an insight not only into the games but also into the minds of couches everywhere.
Please,
If
couches,
everybody
become
asks,
futons.
if everybody asks, Tifa doesn't bounce. Just to let you know, she's wearing a very tight sports bra. She's not gonna bounce. Don't complain. It's realism.
Yeah, well,
That
I mean,
that
I was that came like a bullet out of nowhere, like.
that's it. That's it. Nope, not gonna buy the game. 1 out of 10. Horrible. I'm gonna review bomb it.
But yeah, remember, guys, always be Jesse.
Yeah, always be
Always,
Jesse.
always be Jesse. Go for the D or the V. You know, guys, don't be a couch. Just do your move, shoot your shot. What's the worst that can happen?
You go to
Nothing.
jail. You go to jail.
Are you gonna shoot your shot to a kid?
No,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a difference on levels, man. If you're gonna shoot your shot like a psychopath, then don't. Just stay being a sofa
Basically,
and
what
die alone.
we're saying is, you know, be proactive, but don't be a stalker.
Yes. Just learn from the mistakes of people in gaming. But yeah, that's all I can say about it. I hope you guys enjoy my rant on please play Chris's Core, please.
Well,
Free advertisement.
pretty much. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this up?
Tifa doesn't bounce.
Oh my god.
So basically, what we got is Tifa doesn't bounce, play Crisis Core, and don't be a couch. And from me, Tifa and Cloud, the one true ship forever. Okay,
Yes.
that's all the time we have for today. We're gonna go ahead and post this on the SideCast over on the YouTube channel a little later. Thanks to anybody who's listening, will listen, might listen, share. Find us on all the Geeks and Gripes social media platforms: Facebook,
Mhm.
Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Subscribe and check us out. Check out the Geeks and Gripes podcast. We will be getting a new episode hopefully soon. One of our associates is in the process of getting pretty big change in their lives, so we're waiting on that to finish up before we actually plan the next episode. So for now, thanks guys, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.